Praise be to Jesus. Well, this is an absolutely great story. Wait until you hear this. This is really wonderful. This is from the Catholic News Agency. You know, it's mainstream media, but I checked them. They have good stories. This is really great. While European bishops discuss how to bring young people back to the church at the 2018 Synod of Bishops, one bishop from Cameroon said that he has the opposite problem. My churches are all bursting, and I don't have space to keep the young people, said Bishop Andrew Fuanyu, I don't know, of Mamfi, said at a Vatican press conference October 24th. And my shortest Mass would be about 2.5 hours, he added. Yeah. A study by Pew Research Center in August 2018 found the church attendance and prayer frequency was highest in sub-Saharan Africa and lowest in Western Europe. 4 out of 5 Christians in Cameroon said that they pray every day. People ask me, why are your churches full? The Cameroon bishop said, I gotta pronounce this guy's name properly. For Bishop, Fuenia, or something like that. It all comes down to family, community, and traditional values. Coming from Africa, the family is a very, very strong institution, he said. We come from a culture in which tradition normally is handed from one generation to the other. Our traditional values still equate to the values of the church, and so we hand over the tradition to our young people undiluted and uncontaminated, he continued. When asked about the potential inclusion of so-called LGBT language in the Synod's final document, the bishop reiterated that point. I wouldn't vote for any article that has LGBT, he said. Explained that 99.9% of the young people in his diocese would stand at my door and say, "What's this?" With matters of doctrine that the church teaches, it is not like in the Synod we are trying to invent new teaching. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. We cannot be taking positions that contradict the gospel, he added. Let me get that right here. Did I read that right? I don't want to give you the wrong idea. What matters of doctrine that the church teaches, it is not like in the Synod we are trying to invent new teaching. Oh, okay, yeah, right, all right. On that point, Cardinal Reinhard Marx, Archbishop of Munich and Friesling, told the press conference, quite honestly, I don't remember that we had discussed this issue in Germany, so I can't acknowledge that there is a specific conversation on this. This is not a synod on sexuality. It's a synod on the young, Marx added. Fuanya suggested that 2 of the key ways in which the faith and teaching of the church is handed over to younger generations are through the family and community. In these, he said, the African church was setting an example. Church as community, church as family is very strong for us, said the bishop. A strong sense of community in the church is something very important that Europe can learn from Africa, he said. In Africa, there's still a lot of things we do as community. That's really lacking in the church in this country, that's for sure, I think. I shouldn't put in comments while I'm reading. That is the difference. Let me start again. In Africa, there's still a lot of things we do as community. That is the difference. What we are trying to do in these small Christian communities is to fight the increasing of individualism, he added. There are significant demographic differences in family size in Europe and Africa. Let me see here. I didn't read this, so I don't know. Let me see here. Hold on a minute. In the European Union, let's just stick with what he quotes here, or what he's saying. It is not like Africa has come to help Europe solve their youth problem. It is the church that has come together to see how to solve the problem of the youth, he said. When we are looking at things in the Synod, we are not solving problems of particular continents or particular local churches. We are looking at the church from a global point of view. We reflect on the empty churches, but at the same time we reflect on the poverty situation. We reflect on migration. We reflect on all those things that show the church from a holistic point of view, he said. For Cardinal Marx, one global issue that needs to be addressed is the sexual abuse crisis. Okay, the discussion on sexual abuse in the past few months drew global attention. I believe it is an important global matter that needs to be discussed, Marx said in German. Now, let's get back to Marx here. Oh, well, here's something that comes from Marx for sure. It is the church that needs to change. The youth have said this, he continued. We need to do this together in the theme of accompaniment. And that's Marx for sure. Well, for some reason, you'll see in the picture that the two of them are talking to a group of reporters side by side. So, I mean, these guys are like two opposites, I mean, Marx thinking that, just keep on changing the church and that'll correct it. And then, this bishop from Cameroon gives us a perfect example of what really works, what really works. And, you think people would listen to him. Well, I mean, some of us have, we understand that, how to correct everything is actually to go backwards, but, they just, the modernist element just, maybe they do get it, but that's, in fact, I think that could very well be true, that they really do understand that, but what they really want to do is just, under the cover of what's called the Catholic Church, and with the people, the baptized people in the Catholic Church, they want to hijack the church, and just remake it into what they want it to be. They're like they're just using us to, undercover to form a new church to make up their own sort of. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a church because I believe where it's all headed is just into secular humanitarianism. That's what all this migration and global warming and, and then you see at the same time what's going on, in the borders and, so, these things are really tied together, I believe. And I think a lot of you agree with me. Some of you might not be sure, but, the way forward is to go back. I can't, a lot of us seem to know that, and I think the church knows that, but they're not interested in something. Here's another point. I was just listening to Dr. Marshall before I laid down for a while, and he and his guests are talking about how the bishops and cardinals and modernists are using this concept of, we have to include everybody. God is love and mercy, and we include everybody in our church. Well, there is no belief system or any church or really any organization that includes everybody, because everybody's got rules and regulations, and in this case, the church has got things like God's commandments, doctrine, official Catholic teaching, you know. So to say that the church is inclusive is really wrong. It's really not inclusive. But we don't exclude anyone. It's for the person to decide whether they want to be included or not. That's all, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, Christ didn't change anything so that everybody was included. I mean, that's ridiculous. You exclude yourself, all right? You know, if you don't want to be a Catholic, then you're not a Catholic. If you don't want to believe in Catholicism, what we believe in, then you exclude yourself. You know, you don't have to bend over backwards to change. I mean, you don't change what we believe so that it includes everyone. I mean, that's not even a belief system. Well, it's a secular belief system, but it's not one based on Jesus Christ. I mean, that's crazy. You know, what they're doing is so crazy, and yet they're getting away with it. It's absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Oh, boy. You know, and this is just going to get worse. Well, let's pray. Let's pray and whatever. Oh, it's just so upsetting. All right, well, we'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh.